Let's put it in motion. I'ma give you a promotion.
Hey there, folks. I want to welcome you here tonight to a very special STB call. You heard some music there in the background. Looks like our friend Dwayne Golden was bumping to some music. Dwayne, what's up, man? You doing all right?
Oh, I was muted. I'm doing great, man. I was listening to my music.
We heard. That's okay. There's some good
Work
music.
from home, you know. That's the industry we're in. I was all about working from home.
All right. Well, man, welcome. Hey, we do want to welcome everybody here tonight, man. We have an absolute packed call. So since we do have such a packed call, we have some really cool stuff that we're going to be talking about here tonight. Some fourth quarter updates, some vision for 2020, or as I like to call it, the 2020 vision, right? We want it to be perfect. So with that being said, I want to make sure everybody can hear us as this line fills up. Why don't you give us just a number one if you can hear us loud and clear tonight, you can see us. All right. Thank you so much. I did this the other night, and I think this is kind of cool. If it's okay with you, Dwayne. I know we're kind of pressed for time, but hey, why don't everybody just give us an idea where you're calling in from tonight, or where you're located? Just type it in there in the chat. If you don't know how to do that, there's a chat button there that you can put there. We've got Las Vegas, Arizona, Missouri, Canada, Texas, Minnesota, Las Vegas again, New Zealand,
Clearwater.
Clearwater, Florida, Milwaukee, South Africa, California, Buffalo, New York. And we got it flying here tonight. So, man, Dwayne, you must bring out the people, dude.
No, that's not me.
Indiana, Boise, Idaho, Dallas, Texas, Michigan, North Carolina, Alabama, me too, Mississippi, another Birmingham, Alabama. All right. Toronto. Man, we've got it filled up. Well, listen, I don't want to take too much time. I appreciate everybody telling us where they're coming from, Vancouver. I mean, we've got a bunch of people here tonight, Dwayne. So I'm excited. Obviously, we've got Mr. Dwayne Golden, who is the consultant for our company with D. Golden Associates, and we're excited to have him here to talk about, where we're at right now as a company and where we're going into 2020. So before I start sharing the slides, Dwayne, I'd like you to come out and just say hi to everybody. For those of you who don't know you, maybe tell them just a little bit about your role, and then we're going to get to the slides here.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's good to be back. It's been about, 5 weeks now, James, since I've been on a webinar.
Oh.
And the rumor here, I mean, I've even had my, what do you call that moment when people are claiming that you're dead or something? I'm here. Just been busy with a lot of things. Many of you know that one of the things that's important for me as a consultant is to make sure that I have an impact on the industry. Certainly, it's a pleasure to be here with Sports Trading BTC, but the same token, I have other responsibilities. So I was absent, but absolutely excited about the direction everyone's headed now and what you're doing, James. I believe everyone's going to be pretty excited about it. I just think it's important to note that this cannot be a James Ward show in work. There has to be a collaboration collectively between the owner and the members. The owner, the leaders, the members, everyone must participate in ensuring that this company will be here long after many of you have had birthdays, New Year's have come in. And the way that happens is by being committed to integrity, committed to the greater good, not just immediate greed. And I believe without a doubt, James, you're on target. We just want to make sure that everyone realizes this cannot be a solo job. As much as you are a solo artist, this requires the entire group to be involved.
Yeah, man. Well, I totally agree with that. I appreciate you coming out here tonight and giving a little bit to the folks who are brand new, because we're growing at a pretty decent rate here. So a lot of people may not be familiar with your role here as a consultant. So I'm excited to have you on here to talk about some of the things that you help us with. And you just mentioned that this is such a key component to our growth, is making sure that the people are behind it. I said this on the last call. We're going to get to the slides here. It is constantly people are saying, hey, man, we just want this one to last. We want this one to last more than 8 weeks or 12 weeks. Give us 6 months. And to me, it's just such an insane conversation to have about business. But, that's where the market's at. So we're going to show you some things here tonight that are going to do the things that we talked about to keep us in business, to keep us heading in the right direction. and also just make us stronger as a company. So before I get started here, though, I do want to make sure everybody can see these slides. Can everybody see the slide presentation? If you can just hit number 5, give us a number 5 on your chat that you can see it. Let's see here. I got to catch up, man. All right, cool. Wow. We got so many people in this room here tonight. It's like the chats are flying in. So it's a pretty cool feeling. I remember when we had 0 on this call and it was just me talking to myself. Right? Yeah. But let's go ahead and get this thing started. And, you know, the whole point in tonight is to talk about the fourth quarter that we're currently in and the vision of 2020, where we're going as a company. I think we can all agree that, you know, especially in this industry right now, it's a little bit rare to have a company that is considered in that crypto sector to come out and talk about the vision of 2020. Most of them are trying to figure out how to get their foot out the door with the Bitcoin you gave them, right? So we're excited to be in the position that we're in to update you. Now, for those of you who are brand new, maybe you got invited by someone here tonight to learn about our company. You're going to learn about our personalities, the heart that we have as a company, but you're also going to see that we're also in the infancy stage. We just officially launched our business on October 1st. Dwayne, you were with us there in Orlando for a little bit to be able to see the launch or the pre-launch party that we had. So it was a lot of excitement. You know, we got to meet a lot of the great leaders. So I'm excited about where we've been and where we're going. But you know, let's talk about just this fourth quarter, what it has meant to us as a company, and some of the things that we've done just since launch. And Dwayne, I'm going to ask you to step in here a little bit as well, because you know you had a lot of influence in many of these things that we've done to make sure that we can be here for the long term. The number one thing that we did that we implemented into our system, as you know, is the tokenized system. And we didn't fully tokenize our entire company, but we did in a lot of different ways. So as you guys know, right now we have the trading pool or the game of the week. I mean, that's what it's really called, the game of the week that you guys have been able to participate in. Let me ask you this, since we have so many people on here, how many of you got to participate in both games of the week this weekend where we had 2 wins? Give me a number 7. I'm going to run out of numbers, but that's okay. Give me a number 7. Now, was that fun or what? That's a lot of fun. You can't be more transparent than that. So congratulations to those who won on that. Dwayne, did you watch the games of the week this weekend?
I don't know. I don't know what all they were.
Man.
But I do know that I saw the Patriots, whatever that the Patriots,
Ravens.
This was Ravens game. I do know that was one of them. Then I did see part of that one.
Yeah, you know, I talked to a few people that are huge Patriots fans and they just couldn't pull the trigger because we had the Ravens, as you know. But, you know, so some of the things that we've talked about that you can use the tokens for, obviously the game of the week. We also have our Founders Club. And, you know, we haven't, as a company, probably done the best job in the world at really telling people about the Founders Club, exactly what it is, what it can mean to you, and what it's going to be doing. So, Dwayne, I'm going to ask for you to jump in here as we get into this Founders Club a little bit, because I want people to understand really how powerful this is, why we designed it, and, you know, the tokenized system. Since you had a lot of influence on that, before I get all the way into the Founder Circle, you want to jump in here for just a second and talk about, you know, why you think this was the right direction for us as a company from a consulting standpoint, and why you think it makes sense for all these different things that we're creating with it.
Well, I'm glad you've asked that too. It's so important when thinking about a company launching that members and leaders, as I said earlier, must have a role. And that role cannot be that everyone has joined a cult and don't have an opportunity to participate in the direction as well as the financial benefits. So one of the things that's important about a Founders Club is to give members an opportunity from the beginning to have a role that gives them advanced benefits, at the same time allows them to participate at the highest possible level in whatever the company is doing. And so one of the things that I believe is important for that is that that each member have an opportunity to enjoy those benefits through an elite club. Many companies do it. Some just do it just as a revenue generator. But I believe that such a thing should be in the way where leaders and members who declare to participate can actually participate at the leadership level, where they can learn advanced things around, in this case, about sports trading, include additional incomes that normally weren't there. So That's it. So in order to do that, to give leaders an opportunity and members an opportunity to experience that, add additional income levels or additional income streams, and additional elite participation for events and or other things like that. So that was the concept. And as later on in the webinar, you'll be able to go through that, but it includes like a car bonus or a lifestyle bonus, if you will. Things like that are extremely important.
Yeah. So, sorry if I looked a little bit distracted there. I just got a note that we're completely full. We have people trying to get in this room. I told you we had a full house here tonight. So there are people that are trying to get in that are getting bumped. So congratulations on being early. We did record this, and we'll get this recording out as soon as possible for those that did not get to participate, or we'll just have to increase the room size. So yeah, Dwayne, one of the things you talked about was in relationship to the founder circle was the car bonus, some of the additional compensation plans. There are those that are there. And here's a couple things. So we're not going to make this a webinar about the Founders Club. What these slides were designed were to tell you all the things right now that you can use your tokens on, because we've got some big news that we're going to be announcing tonight. So I promise you this, we will do another call on the Founders Club where you can truly see the value of it. But there are a couple things that we want to talk about here tonight that are super cool about the Founders Club that you're going to want to be part of, besides the car bonus, besides the opportunity to actually earn some extra income. So Dwayne, I know you've been working a little bit with this side of it. We do have something that we're going to be announcing here just this week about the Founders Club cruise. Now, what most of you may not know is that when you become a founders member, or in the Founders Circle, you actually get two spots on our Founders Cruise. And on that cruise, we're going to be doing a lot of different things. But, Dwayne, I know you're going to be there, hopefully. So tell us a little bit about that, as far as the excitement of the cruise.
What I can tell you is that for a number of years, I've always offered cruises for my clients and top producers. And I can tell you that it's a great opportunity to experience playtime. As many of us know, if you work, right, many of us don't get that time. So I think that alone is a privilege. As I understand it, James, the elements of this Founders Club cruise includes, I believe, private training and setting up your own accounts for sports trading. I don't remember what other things you have on there. I do know that it includes fun for two, like a person and their spouse, significant other. I'm not. So it's those kinds of things. But what's really important, I can tell you about cruises. I can tell you all the music and entertainment from what really this is going to sound crazy. Karaoke. That's what I like to do when I go on cruises. The karaoke. I don't do it. I like to watch. Okay, let's be clear. Comedy clubs, dancing, excursions. Certainly, just doing nothing, which is a blast if you're always doing something. Those are kind of things that I think are important to note, that you get to just let your hair down with people you love, celebrating being a part of a shift of an industry. I don't know, some of you don't get it. It hasn't become real to you yet. We're in an industry where pretty much 100% of the companies that launch in this industry do it one-dimensionally, and unfortunately have a short lifespan because the tough decisions weren't made from the beginning. Tough decisions have to be made early on in such a company. And so celebrating the fact that you got involved with one, many of you have already been involved with 4, 5, 6, 7, or maybe as much as 10 in the last 2 years, only to see the same thing happen over and over. This is an opportunity for you to participate in its celebration that it's been set up differently. No, you're not getting high-ended on the front end with all the money up front so the company goes out of business, but instead you get to participate with great income and yet great responsibility. And so the celebration there will be that. I think what will be most interesting, James, for those of us like myself, I don't know anything about sports trading. That does intrigue me. But to get alone and do something with my wife, I'm so busy, I don't get to do that too often. So that's pretty much it from my side, bro.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, so that really leads us to where we're going. We know where we've been. We know what we've been able to use the tokens for. Like I said, we have the game of the week. We have the drawing pool. We have the founder circle, and we talked a little bit about that. Obviously, I'd love to see all of you on a cruise. It's going to be a lot of fun. But where are we going? Because that's the most important thing right this second. So you guys can understand what we're doing at this company. So one thing that we announced at the live launch in Orlando was our brand new product, which is going to be an auction. And do I want to let you talk a lot about this? But here's what I want to tell you all about this. Now we're not gonna give you all of it, okay? But we're gonna give you a good piece of it because we want to be able to show you, not just talk about it. So we're going to be able to show you something here very soon. But you're actually going to have a full auction in your back office that allows you to win. I'm talking prizes that you would never buy on your own for literally pennies on the dollar. So I'm pretty excited about that. And Dwayne, I don't know if you want to kind of jump in on here as far as the auction's concerned, but as you know, this is going to be a huge game changer. Oh, it looks like, oh, he has some feedback. Okay.
I'm sorry. What'd you say? I
was talking about the auctions, and then I saw you stand up. I was like, oh no, we might have something going on. No worries.
No. I had to grab my phone. I have my phone on the other side there, just in case. I have my father in another room and I'd care for him.
Yeah, no worries, man. No, I mean, we were talking about the auctions and just how they're coming. And what I was talking about, the ability to, participate in these with tokens. Which we're going to talk about the name token and some other things like that. But one of the biggest things that we're coming with are more and more ways that you can utilize, your tokens. And one of the biggest ways is going to be this auction that's going to allow you to bid on multiple different items. I'm talking about, vacations to Disneyland for you and your family. All the things that you may want to be able to purchase, but number one, maybe you can't afford it, or number two, it's just not something that you're willing to splurge on. These are the type of things that we're talking about that you're going to be able to utilize, and it's going to be absolutely a game changer. So, Dwayne, I don't know if you want to give any feedback on that before we move on, because I know we don't have a demo to show people right here tonight, but it's going to be something that's phenomenal.
My only feedback is that a few years ago, when these kind of things started up, it's an opportunity, I believe, to bring added value. What STB cannot do. One of the reasons I'm here is to advise and to ensure the longevity of the company. If all STB is a money passing opportunity, there's nothing. So tokens are great, and there's already things you can do with them, but there needs to be a consistent added value that's related to them, and that's where this comes in. So whether someone's winning a trip, like you said, to Disney, or flights for a $2,000 voucher at any airline they want, or even a motorcycle, or just the new iPhone 11R, whatever it may be, all those things will be able to be won on an auction where they'll cost of at least 10% of their actual value, 10 to 15% of their actual value. On such an auction, like say for an iPhone 11, that probably would cost about, at the max price someone could pay for it would be like $115. On a $5,000 trip to Disney, for a family, the most someone will pay for something like that would be like $450. So that's the kind of thing that this kind of value that can be brought. So other details, I imagine in future webinars, you can go into the details of that. But right now, it's just important to note, this is just going to be one of those areas where you're going to have added value, since you're going to be having tokens. Some of you guys are winning tokens, or you're doing whatever you're doing with them. Some of you just sitting on them, collecting them. There'll be things you can do to turn that into revenue and or products through this concept. So that's it for now. And whenever I have time, I'm going to prepare something. Perhaps actually, I'm going to be doing a leadership call on Thursday. Maybe I'll have time to go into that at that time.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm fired up because it's, like I said, having the ability to share these things, given that value to where you can actually use and cash in your tokens. It may not be on the game of the week. It may not be a drawing pool, but having something that, can create some entertainment value and also give a lot of families opportunities that they wouldn't have before. It's a cool thing. So we have a couple comments in here saying, wow, that's a very neat twist. I know people are excited about it. So, Dwayne, this is where we're going to really get to the nitty gritty of the compliance side of our business, which, is a huge, huge component of what we do. Folks, as I started this thing off, one of the biggest things that we constantly get here is, hey, what is it? Are you guys going to be able to make it? What are the things that are going to allow you to stay in business? And one of the biggest things is the compliance. I talked a little bit about this on Sunday night, but there's some of the things that go into our company that we need to make sure are just tightened up a little bit. And that's definitely where Dwayne and his company help us out. I mean, we have a compliance officer and things like that. So you can see that our entire system is going to be fueled by, we slashed out tokens, and it's going to be STB credits. And that's important to note as we go forward here. Now, as you know, we have the drawing pool right now that you can use your tokens for. If you didn't realize this, we're giving away a $10,000 shopping spree on November 26th. So you have basically 20 days to get into that drawing. It only costs 50 tokens or 50 credits now to get into that drawing. That's super important for you. I mean, who wouldn't want to do that? Who wouldn't want to have the opportunity to either help themselves or another family out? I mean, Dwayne and I, you talked about this, having the opportunity to help out a charity or a women's shelter or something like that. It's such a cool thing that people can utilize. So as you can see, we want to make sure that you're getting the opportunity to participate in that. And remember, retail customers can do this as well. It has nothing to do with becoming a member inside of our company right now. If you want to sell tokens to other people and earn a 10% commission, you can do that, and they can definitely participate in the drawing pool. Now, one other thing that I want to talk about here tonight is some brand new training that we're going to be adding to your back office. November 20th is the expected launch date of this. Now, there's many of you here that may not care about sports. You may not care about learning how to actually, wager sports or trade sports, whatever you'd like to say. But at the same time, maybe you want at least the understanding of the language behind it. When we start talking about, we took the over in the game, or we took an under, or we got plus the points or minus the points, or the puck line, the money line, all these things to most people are foreign language, right? Unless you've been in that industry and you understand it, you don't have a clue what it is. So we have a brand new training that we're going to be bringing out that will be live in your back office here in the next couple weeks, I guess, that will give you access to some of this information. So when you see the games posted on the trading report, you can begin to understand some of these things. If you want to take that information and actually begin to trade on your own or wager on your own, you can do that as well. So Dwayne, I don't know if you have any feedback on this before I move on, but I think this is a key component to just another value add to what we do inside of our business. You're on mute, bro.
Well, I've been waiting 5 weeks and I forgot how to work a webinar. No, absolutely added value. That's all I can say at this point. There's a lot of things you have to cover, and I don't want to steal the time with my rambling. So I want to make sure people know, pay attention. Some of you, you're on business numbers 7 or 8 this year. You literally can call it home because you can expect it. Added value every day of the week. Go ahead.
All right, cool. So, we talk about retail sales here. I just told you how you could utilize the new STB credits or tokens, as they were called previously, and we're moving to that. So there's going to be some name changes throughout our entire website. But you have the opportunity to sell these to people and earn a 10% commission. But it takes it a step further than that. Forget about the commission for a second. In network marketing, the laws are very clear that you must have retail customers. You can't just have people in here that are members only that are recruiting other members. There has to be retail sales as part of the equation. So our token and our credits, if you will, they are our product going forward. We will be a fully tokenized or fully credit company where every single purchase that you make will be built around this, including the retail sales. So we need to talk just really quickly about the event, and then we're going to get to some of the actual changes in this company going into 2020 so you guys can see this. On November 23rd in Toronto, we are going to be having a live event at the Holiday Inn Yorkdale. So if you're in that Toronto area or anywhere near it, we definitely would love for you to be there. In fact, I'm a big believer that you don't miss company events unless it's just some type of emergency. I understand that sometimes it's financially tough to get there, but you absolutely need to be in a seat there, because what you're going to be able to see is not only have a chance to meet us face to face, get the heart of the family, Yorksdale. David Francis is correcting me. It's Holiday Inn Yorksdale. So, hey, man, I'm from Alabama. I'm not from up there, so get off my back. I'm just kidding. But no, Holiday Inn Yorksdale is where it's going to be. We hope to see everybody there. We're going to be releasing a page tonight where people can register for that. It's no cost whatsoever. So we'll be sending that link out on an email where people can get started. So let's get to a few other things, and then we'll get to it. We are coming out with a brand new STB app. We released this again at the launch party. Some of you have seen this. It's not new to you, but most of you on here have no idea that this is what we're coming out with. So as you can see, this app is already in process. This is actually kind of just a glimpse at what it's going to be able to do. You're going to be able to, access your trainings. You're going to be able to get sports news. Anything that you can think of. So all of these trainings that we do that maybe you can't actually gain access to because you're at work or, you're with your family and you want to be able to watch them on the way to work or something like that, or, on your break or your lunch break, you're going to have access to it right there on your phone. Every single event that we have, you're going to get access to that. So like the Toronto event that's coming up, you would be able to see that. You would be able to tell us if you're actually coming or not coming. There's going to be a lot of cool aspects in regards to the events. Also, our ability to help you from a customer support. If you didn't notice, we do have live chat on our website now that you can actually access and be able to talk to people, a customer support agent. We're going to have this built into our app as well, where you can submit your support tickets and you can get help right there on your phone. I mean, let's face it, 90% of our time is spent on our phone from a business perspective. We also have the game of the week. You're going to be able to participate in that and also, be able to get updates on the score right there in your app. So that's going to be a really cool thing as well. The latest news on sports, not only sports, but also, what's going on in our company. You'll have full access to that right here on your phone, which I think is really a cool thing. Now, I flew through that because we're already 26 minutes in because we rambled on a couple things when I say we, me. But here's where we're really going to let the rubber hit the road, okay? Because there's some really big things that are coming into play as we get into the fourth quarter, which we're currently in 2019, building into 2020. So, Dwayne, I want to let you, since from a consulting standpoint, this is one of the biggest roles that you take in our company, is making sure that we're going to be here, making sure that there's things that we need to have in place to protect us, protect our members. I want to give this to you for just a second as we go through this, but I want you just to kind of lead it off, if you don't mind, talking about some of the name changes and things that we're going to have to be doing to make sure that we can move forward without any craziness.
Yeah, of course. One of the things that happens when you're creating a global opportunity as a company, depending on what products are offered, what type of compensation there is, you often are putting, in many cases, as much as 40% of your members at risk, as well as the company. I think it's essential is being able to find a way to create value in these different areas of the world, and yet be compliant in those communities in which you serve. So one of the things that we don't want to do is, I was given some data today on what the great portion of new people attending or coming into the company are from places like South Korea, Malaysia, Japan, China. And if you're not familiar with it, let me assist you with this. Oftentimes, finding a way to add more financial value to the families in these countries, oftentimes they do so at the risk of being jailed or imprisoned, and many times against the rules of the government, because the company may be coming from a part of the world that is not in that country. And when it comes to things like investments, things along the lines that put you in the investment category, it's important. I've advised James and his team that it's essential that they are considerate of all members. This cannot be a North America and its territories company. It's got to be a global one in order to have the proper impact to have longevity and to last. That being said, there's also been some legal insight on this, and it's essential that there are some tweaks that are made. Nothing drastic, but there needs to be tweaks that have to do with the future. If some of you probably have never experienced being with one company 1 year, and then 3 years later, you're still there. Some of you have never experienced that. You deserve to know what that's like. And the way that happens is that companies and their owners can make the tough decisions early. And so I've advised James that he should not wait until members or the companies at risk of different legal actions to make such decisions. They need to be made early once we're told. The industry is changing and evolving daily. So this will not be the last time there will be suggestions to make tweaks to make it a more pleasurable experience for each of you. And so that's where this has come from. So James, I hope that helps. And by the way, if you understand what I'm saying, you too would like to be a part of a company and contribute to it so that it's here 3-5 years later yourself, type in the number 1. That way, at least I know we're not, this part of the section is just as important as the other sexy stuff. Okay, good. And this is the only way it's going to happen. Dave Ramsey always talks about live like no one else so you can live like no one else. A company owner has to operate like no one else. Because I know, James, many of the members in a company like this are going to come to you and tell you about their last company that's no longer in business. They're going to want you to make changes just like the other company. You have to be willing to make a decision like no other company owner will so that you can have the longevity like no other company. I think this is where it begins. Being tough early on so you can provide added value for years to come for all these people that are here even as you have no more room left in the webinar.
Yeah, man. I couldn't agree more, and I'm going to say it again, even though it's a third time. I mean, when I talk to folks, the number one thing that people say to me is, James, how can we make this one last? How can we really plant our flag here? Can you give us 6 months? Can you give us a year? And that's like the most horrible thing that you can hear as, in this industry. That's what we've gotten to, is a really bad place. But like you said, I say this all the time. I'm not trying to be anybody else. We're not trying to be anyone else as a company. We're trying to be us, because we're not taking examples from everybody that failed before us, right? Except for the examples of what not to do. So when we get these things that people are wanting us to do, and the challenges that are out there, we're not messing around right now, because we're here to make this thing last for all the people that are here. I hope everybody understands that. So with that being said, there are some legal things that we need to talk about in regards to some of the names that we use, some of the tweaks that we need to make that are very small tweaks, but can do wonders for us from a compliance standpoint. One of those being changing the name from a token to a credit. You see, token implies that we have some type of coin that we are going to either be bringing public, that we're trying to create value on, and that's not the case. Even though I say
your screen's supposed to change, because it didn't change.
No, I didn't.
Okay, sorry. Okay, I just didn't know. Sorry.
But I will go ahead and change it, because that's important. But one of the things is the tokens, right? Changing it to credits. I'm glad you told me to change that. Makes sense now. That's one of the biggest things out there. I get constant questions about when is the token going public, James? Like, is it going to build up the value and then you're taking? No. That's not what we're doing. That's not what we're talking about. It doesn't matter how many times I say that. That is the mindset that people have. So we are going from the STB token to credits effective November 20th. And Dwayne, I'm going to ask for your guidance on some of this as we're going through it, because you have a lot to give back as far as the auctions and things like that. But before we do that, one of the biggest things that we have inside of our name is sports trading BTC. And truthfully, from a marketing standpoint, that's where we came up with sports trading from that side of it. It could have been sports wagering. It could have been anything. But the word trading itself implies that we're doing some type of trading like in a market. And that's not the case. You guys know we don't deal with financial instruments, okay? We're not a wallet. We're not doing arbitrage. We're not doing crypto trading or Forex trading or anything like that. So to have that in our name might pose a little bit of a challenge. So one thing that we're considering doing is making a small change to our name, potentially Sports Network BTC. We're going to announce that very soon, but just keep that in mind. We'll give you all plenty of time to change your stuff and things like that. But we're doing these things to protect us. So Dwayne, I'm going to give it back to you for a second in regards to the credits and tokens and things like that, because this is a real major deal along with the name. I mean, there's small changes, but they're important.
Yeah, I don't know that there will be anything at all for members to change whenever you do this. It's important to note that the site is still there, the domain you guys still own. So whatever happens, it'll just forward people to the right place instantaneously. So there may not be anything to do on your side. But relating to the credits, you know, as I mentioned earlier, you know, I have been the consultant for companies where I had to help the owner fly to South Korea where he'd have, you know, 100 or more members in jail. There's no need to go through that. If owners make decisions early, they don't have to ever put themselves or their members at risk. So such changes, which may, if you have OCD, it's probably going to bother you, right? No worries. Or I have OCD myself in many areas. But it's really important that such tough decisions are made. They're not really that big of a deal unless you make it that, but it should happen. I recommend it. And even after checking from a legal standpoint, it is a good thing to do. And so being proactive is one of the essential characteristics of a owner who's going to stick around for a while. And so I think this is very important. So if you look at the tokens, the first bullet point where it says credits will be worth 3 times their value for the auctions, that's talking about with these customer acquisition bonus tokens. So when it gets down to the daily, which you didn't get to that yet, your daily, what's called a trading bonus, it's going to be switched and called with a new name, customer acquisition bonus. And what that's going to do for you, it's not just going to give you that bonus amount, but after doing the analytics, we recognize, you know, this company was never started for people to generate fortunes off of just sitting their money and not doing anything. So because of that, literally, if a person just joins and does nothing, right, it'd take them 400 days just to make back their investment. That's of zero value. I know, James, I've heard you advise people, don't do that. Go get a bank account somewhere if you're doing it for that reason. You can generate value of these customer acquisition bonuses daily. Once you have enough in there, you can withdraw. However, something will help people to use it and generate and turn around a lot more value than they put in would be to be able to utilize them at these quote unquote auctions where they may end up with trip, new phone, computers, whatever they may get. They can use them there. And at the same time, they could still use them for such things as the cruise. I'm not the cruise, but the Founders Club. Many of you don't know this. Some of you are like, I don't want to spend 1 Bitcoin at a time right now, unless it's for my position. What's interesting is in the future, what I've advised them to do is allow their members to actually use their tokens. If they're getting a daily amount every day, allow them to be on auto ship, if you will, until that's paid up. But that way they can have more people being able to benefit from it while they're working, and they don't have to take any money out of their pocket to join it. That's just another concept. You could probably elaborate that on that. The other side of these credits are, if right now you're using tokens, James, for game of the week, or using it for the Founders Club and those types of things, it's really important that as these members are getting their money back, to reduce the risk that is there between putting in tokens, giving back BTC. If it's all in credits, if you put in credits and you take out credits, you get back credits, that reduces a lot of the potential targeting that can happen. We're moving into an election year, and the election years are when, of course, governments and their agencies are toughest on MLM companies or other industry companies. So it's my advice would be to do whatever you can to reduce that, still give value. Members want to reduce, they can actually just withdraw their tokens and they'll withdraw them as BTC. But anything that you participate in will be paid with credits and paid back with credits. That way, it's safer. And if you're in an environment where you can't do things related to trading or working with an item that's getting paid back money, well, you'll be able to do that in this credit environment. You probably can say it better than I did, but it's just important that they know that the reason to do this is to make sure we provide a safer community, but certainly an extended one where everyone can still talk about their celebrations of their success they've had with the money they've generated. And I've seen it. I personally have seen the checks. I've seen the kind of revenue that you guys are generating, but we need to be smart so you can continue to do that. That's it.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And one thing that I would add to this, that maybe will wrap your head around it a little bit better from a layman's terms is, right now that there's many of you that maybe you're at the point oh 0.01 or the 0.025 levels, or packages that we currently have. Every package that we create going forward will be done in credits. So when someone comes in and purchases anything from us, it's going to be credits. They're going to be purchasing credits, and what they do with them, it's up to them. If you want to buy, one of the sports wagering packages, you can do it. If you want to just participate in the games of the week, you can do it. If you want to participate in the auctions, you can do it. It's going to be really up to you from that standpoint because they're your tokens. But with that being said, I want you to imagine for a second, instead of on some of the lower packages, instead of having to wait for your balance to get to 0.01 to be able to utilize any of the credits, imagine being able to use some of those on the auctions that we create or the game of the week and things like that. So some of you who are restricted on the amounts of credits that you're getting right now, we're opening up a whole new world for you to be able to gain access to those without having to hit that threshold of 0.01. So for me, I see the ability for you to have 3 times the amount of credits that you have if you want to use them on auctions and things like that. That's a game changer, especially for a lot of you who are at those lower levels where it may not be building as high as you would like it to, but you can still get some value out of it. So I hope that makes sense, from where it's at. In regards to the trading bonus, changing the name to the customer acquisition bonus, the CAB, whatever you'd like to call it. As Dwayne said, as a company, it's important for you to understand that minimum trader bonus that we created, that's now going to be called the customer acquisition bonus, was never ever created for it to be some type of passive return or anything like that. It was not what it was created for. It was created because not everybody has the skills that everybody else has to be able to perform in this industry. With that being said, though, there's going to be some changes to be able to qualify for that, because see, right now with no qualifications whatsoever for that minimum bonus, it puts us in a category that we don't want to be in. Okay, it puts us in a pretty rough category that we can't afford to be in. So I think it's important for people to understand that going forward, that there'll be some very small requirements in order to be able to achieve that minimum trading bonus, but it's going to be the customer acquisition bonus is what we're changing it to. So,
hey, James, so you don't scare people to death,
yeah,
bro. I think it's okay to be clear about it.
Right,
There's not going to be this long string of requirements. Literally, probably everyone here has probably already done it. So it's not like he's going to throw a new wrench in the gear. If you guys know me, I'm a big advocate that companies should never change their comp plan and take money from people. So that you're not fearful of that. That's not going to happen. If that happens, it means I've probably already gone. I'm not helping anymore. So just so you're not fearful of that. What's going to happen is, so that this company does not become a target for the SEC or someone else, it cannot pay back an investment because you've invested and you just collect. So by putting a minor barrier there, it allows you. Don't worry, you've already accomplished this. If you're here, you've already done it. Just so you know, it's just that it's important that one time during a year you sponsor someone at that level. I mean, you sponsor someone so that when you can get that what do you call that? What used to be called the trading bonus, which in the future will be called customer acquisition bonus. So I didn't want you to think that he's going to bring this string of things that are going to make it impossible for you to get it.
No,
not at all. And not that you meant it, but when you said there's just going to be some minimum requirements, they've heard that from other companies, right, guys? Sure. How many of you guys have heard that from people before? Type it in number 1. You've heard that stuff, and when they say there's going to be some minimum requirements, before you know it, you lose your shirt. Just wanted to clarify that so they can understand. So
so I'll be crystal clear here. I mean, on the what is right now the maximum trading bonus that will be going to the maximum customer acquisition bonus, everything's remaining the exact same. Okay, everything is remaining the exact same. On the minimum, there's, like Dwayne said, there's going to be a requirement to make one sell. It doesn't matter what level. There's no volume requirements, just one sell in order to qualify for that. Because we like we've talked about, there cannot be a situation where you come in here and you just sit here and you expect to get something back for doing nothing. That is not the way this is designed. So it's important for all of us. I'm telling you, for some of you who might think that you wanted to come here and sit, it's not the equation that gets us to where we want to be as a company. So I'm telling you that it is a great thing for everybody. So I want to make sure that we're clear on that. And Dwayne, thanks for coming in. You know,
Yeah,
sometimes
you see how it scared him. Look what this other guy said. It scared him because usually if it's ambiguous, it means you're about to pull a fast one on them. And then I think it's important
yeah.
they note that that's not going to happen.
Yeah, you're going to have to personally sponsor like 300 people in order to open up a level. No, we're not doing that. Everything's staying the same except for from the minimum trading bonus, which is now the customer acquisition bonus, which I don't think you guys understand what that does for us as a company. It immediately lifts a huge burden off of our shoulders where we get looked at, where we shouldn't be getting looked at the way that we are. So I hope that you guys understand that. And let's see here. Let's keep going here. All right. So some of the things that the credits that will be used for going forward, because it's going to be all inclusive, will be every single package that I already mentioned. The trading pool, which is actually going to be changed to just the game of the week. We're going to remove that word trading. The fast start bonuses will be paid in credits. The Founders Club, you can participate in that credits. The trading bonus itself, as we said, will be changed to the customer acquisition bonus. So if you guys are getting anything, I hope that you get the point that we are going to a fully, as we've been calling it, tokenized system, but every single thing that we do inside of our company will be built on these credits, okay? And what you do with your credits and how they're used and things like that is going to be up to you. But from a content standpoint, a language standpoint, some of the things that we have in our name, some of the things that we have in our current content on our website, they have to change. It's important for them to change for us to get through it. So I hope that I'm being clear. So before I even move on, give me a number 5. If what I've said so far and what Dwayne said makes sense to you on the direction that we're going, just give me a number 5 so I'm not confusing anybody. Oh, we got a ton of 5s. Okay, awesome.
Okay. But in the meantime,
yeah, go
someone
ahead.
wants to know if you can be paid out in people still get BTC. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
The idea though is you can utilize credits for whatever you want, and whatever you don't want to use, it just gets paid out as normal. Just understand that there's different roles that the credits can have, but no, you're still going to get paid in your BTC and all that. It's just important to create a utility system. So there's utility for what's being paid in and what's being paid back to you. And then from that, you certainly will have your BTC. So I think that's important.
And the cool thing is this. I mean, if you guys can catch this vision, I mean, there's going to be some of you, as we all probably know, at least I hope you do, if you came in here and you are actually taking the business seriously, we all know that the binary has the most effect from an income standpoint. That will always be your highest paying part of your comp plan if you understand it. But imagine for a second being able to use some of those earnings to go towards the game of the week or towards the auction or towards whatever you want, because it's your credits, it's your money. Instead of focusing on this 0.01 minimum withdrawal, which is still going to be the minimum withdrawal to withdrawal, but if you want to use them, that minimum goes away. So we've opened up the door for, I'm talking the masses to be able to have some immediate value. It's such a huge thing. I'm excited about it. So hopefully everybody gets that. Dwayne, you have anything to add before I move on here?
Yes, I do. Now, unless something's changed, I've been gone for a while. This was never meant to be an investment company unless that message has gotten out there.
No.
It's an opportunity for people to work and still have the company there. The investment company model is not a healthy one or a good one. So I see a lot of the questions are about, you mean, I didn't come in to sponsor anyone. I just wanted to be able to put money in her and let it grow. That was never the model, although you still will accumulate. It's just saying to be compliant and not have the thing shut down by any government, not just the United States, but any government, it's important not to put it in that category where I don't think you have a license for an investment license or securities license, James. And because you don't, I'm advising that you don't. I believe that anyone here, even the worst of multi-level marketers, can sponsor one person within a 12-month period. That's just my take.
Especially, let's think about this. The package starts at at a maximum right now, $100, but it's more like $90. Yeah, anybody who believes in this can do it. Even if you don't believe, you can get someone. You can like, I see some of these things here. You could open up a second account for someone else if you would like. So there's a lot of easy options to get around this. And I'm going to be straight blunt, as I am with every single person. We're not for everybody. Like, for those who are looking for an investment company, we're not it. Like, this is not it. Like, we're not looking to do that. We've created a really clever way to be able to have some entertainment and be able to earn a lot of Bitcoin. But, it does take a little bit of effort, and anything that doesn't is usually a big, what. So let's continue to move on here. Yeah. Okay. So Jonathan's asking, do we have a sportsbook license? No, Jonathan, we don't take any bets whatsoever. We don't take wagers. So you can't actually bet through our system. So that's not required, but that's a great question. Okay. So, just in regards to the STB credits, and I mean, we've kept you here for 50 minutes, so I want to wrap this thing up.
So Brett,
yeah.
So I can help him. I've worked with Brett before. Yeah. Can you wait till the end? If you have a question about 0.25, whatever that is, something you may have gone over before, it's not being avoided. He just has to finish what he's talking about. So if you can hold off, I'm sure he's going to answer that question at the end, Brett. So appreciate it, bro. It's not being anointed, but he's got to cover this stuff. It's really essential, and I don't think it's being avoided at all. It's just he has to be able to focus on this. Sorry about that.
No, man. I'm not very good at reading these questions unless I stop and read them. So I'm not trying to ignore any question. Good job on that. But yeah, in regards to the credits themselves, we talked a lot about this. We have what we call the wild credits. The wild credits are going to be able to use for the auction. You can literally get 3 times your credit amount to use on these auctions. And folks, I'm telling you, I wish we had a demo to show you, and we will very soon, but you're going to see, we're actually going to do some cool stuff as we get into this for those that want to participate and actually even win some stuff on these auctions. So it'll be very cool. For the withdrawable credits, that's what WD stands for, withdrawable credits. That's going to be for your binary commissions, Founders Club, Fast Start bonuses, trading pool, and obviously, your customer acquisition bonus as well if you choose to do that. So those are all going to be options for you. We just want you to know that there are going to be 2 different types of credits, those that are wild and those that are just withdrawable. Okay. Now, if you come in and just purchase credits as well, those are considered purchased and you can't withdraw those. Here's one question that we got, and I want to make sure that everybody understands this as well. If you purchase tokens or credits and you transfer them to someone else, and then that person tries to withdraw them, please know that's never going to happen. I mean, that's like the biggest form of money laundering in the world. So please don't think that you can transfer tokens to someone and then them withdraw it. It does not work that way. If you transfer tokens, those are considered purchased. I have to be very clear on that because that's something that's came up a few different times. Okay, so as Dwayne said, we can't limit our thoughts to just here in the United States. We quickly become a worldwide company. We've opened up in several countries just over the last 2 weeks. So a lot of excitement, but we have to be inclusive, not only in the languages and the translations and the things that we do on our website, but also from a legality standpoint, we want to make sure that we aren't getting folks in trouble, as Dwayne said. So it's definitely a great thing from that perspective. And then let's see here. 2020 forecast. I mean, I'm trying to get on this quickly because we've went over a lot of this stuff, as you guys know. We do have the Founders Club pre-cruise event that we'll be having, and we'll be announcing that cruise very soon, so you can know exactly where we're going, the dates that we're going, and you can figure out if that's something that's going to work for you and your family. As far as the sports training trainer, we want to give people not only the ability inside of our system to utilize the material and the content back there that you can use inside the trainings, but we're also going to be working with some of these trainers to come out and help us on calls like this and things like that to help you understand and also bring them on the cruise with us for the Founders Cruise. So I think that that's also an important thing. The app, Dwayne, I don't know for sure, and I'm not sure if you know because I haven't seen the exact date, but I would expect for that app to come either late December, maybe early January. If it can be before then, that would be great. But that's what we're looking for on the app. So I think that is it as far as that is concerned. And, I know I flew through that. And the reason why is because we've been on here for 54 minutes. And I don't want to take too much of your time. But I also, on the flip side, I don't think there can be enough time spent on the things that are important to keep this company in play. You talk to every person out there who's been hurt by multiple companies. Companies have gone out of business, taken Bitcoins. I've heard people that are sitting there waiting on companies that think that they're going to actually pay them back, and they're waiting for those things. I mean, folks, we want to be as real as we possibly can here. We want to create an opportunity that can be here for the long term, that not only makes sense financially, but also legalities side, the legal side of it makes sense, and that we have the compliance things in place. So, Dwayne, I know I flew through those last few slides, but I think it was important to get out really what we were able to get out here tonight. And we'll be doing a lot more trainings on these different things. As you said, we have a training coming up on Thursday. But is there anything that you want to add to this before we get things wrapped up?
Yes. Number one, if you could only imagine in a company this size, even though it's only started on October 1st, there are thousands of members, and a large percentage of them will have different questions and different things that have to be addressed. Oh, let's see. So here's what I want to say. I know it may look as if different things are not being addressed. It's important to address what the focus is first and then come back to those things. And I'm saying that because you couldn't imagine in a company this size, how many members are already experts, right? They've already been a part of many companies. Then you have the actual internal things that have to take place. So that being said, please be patient, each of you, as you're not being overlooked at all. It's just important that as the owner, he focuses on the things that are essential to still be here. Some of you guys will know it. You've been with companies, they pretty much listen to everything that the members want, and then together, the company doesn't have any future. So trust me, that is not going to happen here. And you are important and you do matter. So now that I said that, these things were important to cover. And I know everyone's got a business degree and everyone is a lawyer, but the truth of the matter is the person has to deal with the risk, and everything here is that man right there, James Ward. He's got to be. And he's got to do it even when you're not willing to be his best friend anymore because he didn't take your advice. So with all the experts that we can have, I want you to understand that. I myself, I'm in agreement. Some things have to be done, and we're doing that. I personally, I've been in this industry a long time as a consultant, but I also have an MBA. I'm not just making stuff up, because I've seen someone's asking what source they would come from. Some of you all here have joined companies where you didn't even know who the owner was, let alone come out and talk to you. So there was no one to hassle. So keep that in mind. Everything's being done on your behalf while you're sleeping, while you're playing golf, and with your friends. And he's going to definitely address them. So right now, James, let's take a few minutes and make sure some of these questions can be addressed so these people know the only way to last is to do whatever he believes is best, not be everyone's friend.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Dwayne, I appreciate you saying that. So the first question I saw there, Brett, that maybe I didn't answer. We have two new levels coming out. We have a 0.05 and we have a quarter Bitcoin package as well. So those two packages are coming. They're not available yet. So, I've been thinking that they've been coming for the last couple of days. So I don't want to give you an exact date. Here's what I can tell you. They are definitely on our programming list. They're important. They're at the top of the list. But we're just waiting on the programming team to get those done. And as soon as they are, we have a ton of people that are asking about this quarter Bitcoin level. So I think that's going to be a pretty hot level. So trust me, it is on our mind. I promise you. All right. So let's see what else we got here. It's kind of Michael's telling us to stop with the NHL. Would you believe that the NHL, even though we had a little bit of a tough weekend, I don't know what you've seen, it's been by far our best, as far as what we're doing. We have some big plays tonight on the NHL, so good ones. Okay, so man, we've got a ton of questions coming in here. I'm trying to keep up. Very good plans. Things.
Let me help you with the order of them, okay?
Yeah, please.
One of the questions someone asked is related to can you please explain the different options or the different why there's different ways for someone to pay to get started. There's really not. Only thing we're doing is just changing it. You're just going to people are going to use credits to pay for their level or to get started with the Founders Club or things like that. So there's not really there's not a whole bunch of ways to do it. There's still just one. Just a person's going to use BTC to gain these credits, and then they're going to use those credits to pay for the position. So that clears that up, and you can, of course, give feedback for that as well.
Yeah, no, I think that's. I think you said it. I don't know that I can add any more to that than what you already said. So,
Yes. Yeah. I'm sorry. Because I have some that came up before. I want to make sure you get to them, so you're not accused of ignoring and so forth, right? So, yeah. So there were some that further up there that need to be addressed. So please explain the origin of legal options that underline these changes, right? That's a great question, Rick. It's just I'm going to give my feedback. Number one, James has to interact with legal team and compliance officer about different things. It's going to be random, but the important thing here is that the changes are being made. It's essential that we do it. I did mention some with the influx of the new members whose country will lock them up. They risk it because they love their family. They want to produce for them. But it's really important that he takes the steps proactively to do what he can to reduce their risk as well as the companies. But that's a great question. Do you have a stockbroker license? Nope, he didn't have that. I'm sorry, I don't mean to answer for you, but I just want to make sure you can land the plane. You've already done that. You've done okay.
Yeah.
So it got down to two other things. Can you explain the different ways of paying and why? Did that webinar? Okay, so now we're back down to the bottom. You can start where you were now. Sorry,
yeah. So a couple of questions. I mean, just to finish up on what you said on the legal opinions. Obviously, Rick, we have attorneys and we have compliance officers. We have a lot of people that are involved in that. So it's not opinions that we're talking about. It's legal facts that we need to be in front of. So I think you did a good job answering it, Dwayne. I just wanted to add on to that. So here's one question. Where do we do the wagers at? We have brokers that we deal with that actually are connected with multiple sports books. So we actually work with brokers that in turn work with sports books, and we have multiple of those. So we don't actually provide the information to those because we don't want any of our members contacting these people. But that is how that works. And you can check out an overview call that probably goes into more detail of that if you're brand new. So to be clear, the CAB will still be paid out in BTC. Yes, correct. The customer acquisition bonus will still be paid out in BTC. You'll also have some options around it to be able to use it for auctions and other things if you choose to do that. Let's see here. Do we have any future plans to have a higher level than 5 BTC? Travis, at this time, there are no plans to do that at all at this point. I mean, I guess it's something that could possibly happen, but at this point, no, there's not any.
Yeah, it's not recommended for sure from my standpoint. And it's a great opportunity. Everybody remembers the good old days, but certainly there's no greater way to put a target on your back than the company's back than that. Just earn 5 BTC, get 2 positions at the 5 BTC level if you want to do that. What happens is I mentioned earlier, it may work for you, but there's so many. James has to make decisions for the company that he's considering the families and the people in the company, their risk. And I think that's really where that stands. So I don't, it's not recommended at all.
Yeah.
You may do it, but I'm just saying it's not recommended.
I'm just kind of going through here to see if there's anything that we missed. A lot of you are saying that you have confidence and excitement. Some of you are saying these changes aren't that big of a deal. So thanks for being proactive. Hey, that's what we're here for. We want to make sure that we can do this together. And, as Dwayne started this thing off, it takes all of us. It can't just be us. When the pivot from a token to credits, will the exchange rate still be 1/10,000th of a BTC? The answer is yes. Everything will remain the same. It's just the name that's changing.
With one exception. That exception is if any of the CAB credits, which are from your daily, are used for the auction, it'll actually be worth 3 times that.
Correct. Yep. All right. Yeah. Well, listen, we've been here over an hour now. Any final, I'll take one more question. If one more question pops up there, I will take it. If not, I'm going to wrap this thing up. 5.
As you wrap it up, I'd like to say, God bless each of you guys. It's important that this company is made up of more than just the owner, but people who love their families and will do whatever it takes to reduce their risk, increase their finances, and give them a great quality of life. So I'm proud to be here as an advisor to this company, this man, but at the same time, locking arms with you to see that this company can soar and help be a part of the positive change and a new culture in the industry. God bless you guys. Thank you for allowing me to be here. And thank you, Jane, for the invite.
Hey, man, thank you so much for taking the time. Everybody, you spent a lot of time with us here tonight. We greatly appreciate it. As you can see, we're headed in the right direction. I am fired up about 2020. It's going to be an amazing year for all of us. So thank you for being a member and helping us build this company. Have a great night, and we will see you on the next live call. Have a good one.